Hey now, good morning. Saturday morning, 9 a.m., WHKP 107.7, AM 1450, and online, of course, at WHKP.com, where the heavens kiss the peaks. And you are here with Judy Moulton, your host, radio real estate host for Grateful Mindset Properties. Serving folks in Western North Carolina with a grateful mindset daily, 7 days a week. Call, text. You want to hear somebody special on the radio besides me, please feel free to call or text 828-290-0940. Also, check out Grateful Mindset Properties at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. But before I bring on my guests, I have two special guests today, so I really hope you'll stick around. It's so lovely to have you listening here on the radio with me every week on Saturdays at 9 a.m. and online. You can download our podcast or see and hear from us online at WHKP.com as well if you happen to miss our Saturday morning show at WHKP.com or 107.7. Again, Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties radio host, realtor, broker in charge of Grateful Mindset Properties. And I have two special guests today, Tad Fogel and Ken Shelton. They are part of a Rails to Trails program, a multi-use path upon completion from Hendersonville to Brevard. And if you're not familiar with the Ecusta Trail or Conserving Carolina, you will hear from them in a little bit after I talk just a tad about real estate. So for those of you that follow me, hopefully every week, I know I get calls and texts and emails from my followers, and I love it, love it, love it. So thank you. I'm eternally grateful. Right now, interest rates, as you know, go up and down, and we are at about today 6.8. So we have gone up a little bit for the 30-year fixed, and the 15-year has gone up as well. It's about 6.25. And again, those rates vary. I mean, I just, got a under contract for one of my listings at 11 West End in Asheville, and they got a 5% interest rate. So there are ways to get lower interest rates based on your debt-to-income ratio. I've had in the past, as a radio guest, a loan officer, and in a few more weeks, I will have another lender on the radio with me, and you'll get to hear from him. And it's always lovely to have special guests, especially those who live and work in the area, as I do. And so let's talk a little bit about Hendersonville and what's happening here right now. In real estate besides the interest rates. Right now, Grateful Mindset Properties, we have a few listings. Thankfully, all of my listings are under contract. All of my buyers are under contract, and I'm grateful to have buyers and sellers that value me, that trust me, that are loyal, and I am the same with them, kind and compassionate, and really try to support them in all ways possible. So my lot at Foxwood is under contract, but if you have some land you want to list, be sure to reach out. Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties, 828-290-0940. And my lovely West Asheville property at 11 West End in Asheville, great property. You can walk to the River Arts District or any of the breweries and check out the art, the music, etc. from there. And right now we have coming soon, we have about 8 properties. We have new listings. We have 15 today, back on market 6. We have some price increases. So prices are going up. We live in an area in Western North Carolina where people want to live, people want to work, they want to play outdoors or indoors, right? But we are at the base of the Smoky Mountains. We have, anywhere from 2,100 to 2,400 elevation right here in Hendersonville, and so it's a lovely place to live, nominated as one of the best places to live in all of North Carolina. I just had some buyers come in from California and Virginia and New York and New Jersey and been showing them around nonstop, working till midnight, helping these folks out, and they are so impressed with this area. It's really nice to be able to do that. But just keep in mind, prices do go up, and we do have some price decreases as well. If properties sit on the market for a little bit, longer than 30 days, if it's under $1 million or under 800,000. What's considered luxury in Hendersonville, or over $1 million in Asheville. Those properties tend to sit a little longer because we are a place where people come to buy their second or third home, and some of us do live here, like myself and my guests in a few minutes, live in the Western North Carolina area year-round and love it. So new listings, let's see. Right now we have some great listings, some one-stories. We get a lot of requests for one-stories. Whatever age group people are in. We have some one-stories in Waynesville, in Brevard, in Girton, and in Asheville that are currently available. The median price range is in the 400s, anywhere from 400 to 450. It tends to need some work, what we call, move-in ready, but you might need to remove some wallpaper. You might need to update some flooring, some appliances. It might need some touch-up work, depending on what you want to do to it. But that medium price point is in that 400s. When we get to the 5s and up, it tends to be a little bit more move-in ready. But if you have any questions about that, again, Grateful Mindset Properties, Judy Moulton, broker in charge here. Please give me a call, 828-290-0940. Be sure to check us out at www.gratefulmindsetproperties.com. So I'd like to bring on my guests today. I'm going to talk to or mention Tad Fogel first. He is in front of me to my left. You are listening to WHKP 107.7 FM or WHKP.com, Saturday mornings, 9 a.m. or online, WHKP.com. So I have Tad Fogel, and a little bit about Tad. He's a retired broadcast and advertising executive. He's a friend of the Ecusta Trail. He's a board member. I am meeting him for the first time today. I am a fan of the Ecusta Trail because I own a small piece of property, a bungalow cottage. I bought it in 2018. I'm a retired clinician, for those of you that know, 30 plus years, a trauma specialist. And I bought my property as a primarily pre-COVID as a place to meet with my clients as a behavioral specialist. I do still train therapists globally around the world. I have a program that I created and I still supervise. I also have some online classes that I provide for them. So I came here as a clinician and bought my piece of property because it was I was told there was going to be this Ecusta Trail that was going to be built. And I thought, wow, I was able to see the forest between the trees, and literally, and cleared away our property so that we could build. We are going to be building 3 townhomes, an accessory dwelling unit on our extra lot, as well as the cottage that we have will be renting. And it's a beautiful piece of property because it's right on the Ecusta Trail, dead ends and into that rail to trail program. It's already got the rocks there, and it's been somewhat cleared away. But I'm going to have my guests talk a little bit more about that, Tad Fogel, and then also Ken Shelton. He's a friend of the Ecusta Trail and supports Conserving Carolina as well. But I'm going to talk to each of them and let them talk a little bit more about who they are, what they do, and what brings them joy in this Western North Carolina area. So Tad, why don't you tell me a little bit about who you are, what you like to do, and how you got involved with the Ecusta Trail?
Well, thanks. And good to be with you, Judy.
Thank you.
I got involved because I became an avid cyclist. And I've ridden a number of rail trails in other areas. And I got involved with the Friends of Ecusta Trail because I was already active in Brevard, involved with the Chamber of Commerce over there and other organizations. So it was a natural for me to be involved because I knew a lot of folks over there. We are excited to be a part of the future of this endeavor because we're getting ever so close to making it happen. And I don't have to go down to the Swamp Rabbit anymore as much.
Swamp Rabbit's in South Carolina, correct?
Yeah, that's down in South Carolina, right between Travelers Rest and Greenville. Yeah. And boy, that's become a busy trail. Mm-hmm. Then you've got the Thermal Belt Trail, which is not too far away over in the Forest City, Spindale area, which is a nice one to try out as well. And then not too far in the future, we're going to have our own.
Great. So, Ken, do you want to talk a little bit about the Ecusta Trail and sort of what it is and, where we are with things and what's happening? Or?
Be happy to, and thank you for having me. We envision this as a 19-mile flat railroad corridor converted to a linear park, and that would go all the way from Hendersonville to Brevard, and we do anticipate that being paved and catering to all ages and all abilities, so that it would be ADA compatible. So far as why I became interested, I have a health background. I'm a retired physician, and realized that the health benefits of a program like this and having an available rail trail will provide a lot of benefit to the community.
Yeah, it's fabulous. I know that Lennox Station is right there if you haven't been there yet, and it's great because literally I could throw a rock from where my property is. We're on Rose Street, which is a dead end, and it butts right up against Ecusta Trail. I mean, we see folks riding their bikes already, walking their dogs, even though it's not paved yet. And they're bike riders. They think they meet on Tuesdays off of 7th Ave at the bike shop, and then they do their rides. You might be involved with that already. And there was many who stopped at Lennox Station last night as we were walking our dogs. We could see some fall off of the bike ride, some continued. But so there's some wonderful things that are happening there. I know that they're planning, local bike shops. There have been more that have been created. There's a lot of infrastructure that's been happening as a result of the Ecusta Trail. Why is it called the Ecusta?
That's a good question. Ecusta is a Cherokee word, and I understand with different meanings, rippling waters or a place of origin. Ecusta paper mill, by the way, which probably some people may or may not remember because it's been down now probably 15 years at least, I guess. But the train that was operating on that line primarily served the Ecusta paper mill. And that, of course, that property's now been cleared. The paper mill is gone. And so...
As many are.
It's a name that is synonymous with the Brevard area, particularly because of that mill and so many people that worked there, as many as 3,500 employees at its peak.
So, why?
But it is a Cherokee name.
It is a Cherokee name, and so is part of that connection. Because it's interesting that you're saying that. So it starts in Hendersonville and then goes to Brevard as part of the reason. What you're just talking about, the paper mill and the whole connection of why did we go towards Brevard? Obviously, Brevard, land of the waterfalls, many people bike there. So to connect those two is a fabulous
And going back
idea.
Even further, railroading has a long time history in Transylvania County because there was passenger service that actually went all the way out to Lake Toxaway and served that area.
Okay. So, obviously the benefits are there are many. Bringing people together, bringing more people to, our lovely area, more things to do. There's all these, plans for the Department of Transportation to widen some roads, etc. So there's all these things to create, more reasons to move to this area.
Well, health and wellness. Connectivity. We like to talk about the fact that it's not going to be just the Ecusta Trail. It's going to be an active transportation mode for recreation, economic development. You talked about the real estate aspect. That's a given right there. I'll never forget a sign that I saw on the Swamp Rabbit Trail down in Greenville. It says, if you like being on the Swamp Rabbit Trail, you'll love living on it.
Yeah, I get letters all the time, believe me.
Yeah. So it's going to be an economic engine for the area.
Economic engine for the area. You know, there's a lot of stuff that is being developed here, which is wonderful. So who supports the Ecusta Trail?
You want to, or actually, it's public and private partnerships that have been involved, long-term leases, local government serving as a project sponsor manager for the project. Remember, we go through several municipalities as it leaves. You know, you got the city of Hendersonville, Laurel Park, all the way over to Brevard. Henderson County has taken the initiative here to administer the trail construction and ultimate parts of the operation. And then on the Transylvania County side, we've had a reluctant county government, but the city of Brevard is actually leasing our entire county portion of the trail. And we have grant applicants meeting the financial obligations, nonprofits, not to mention Conserving Carolina, which has been a big part, our Friends of Ecusta Trail in a major fundraising effort. And we have signed agreements to cover local matches and fundraising for construction of the trail. We've been very successful with our grants. You probably have heard about that and seen some of the news releases on that. And that's been a collaboration, easy for me to say, of Conserving Carolina, the Friends of Ecusta Trail, North Carolina DOT, the MPO, Metropolitan Planning Organization for Henderson County. The Forest Service has been involved, not to mention the Indian tribal, the
Eastern Band
of Cherokee.
I didn't know that. Okay.
That was part of the successful grant that we just recently got. One of the grants that we got was through that organization. Multiple organizations and our local government partners, to answer your question.
No, that was great. And people can read, they can go online to acoustictrail.org, and they can read more about what's happening in the construction and get more details correct, and also how to volunteer, because that's where I have my 2 T-shirts.
And
also
to sign up for our newsletter. There is a monthly, you won't be spammed or anything. There is a quality monthly newsletter. And the thing I like about it is they do a great job promoting, or not reporting, but not promoting, but reporting on the monthly Henderson County efforts toward the trail and the monthly Brevard efforts toward the Transylvania County portion of the trail.
And that's fabulous. I mean, I look forward to getting it. Yeah.
Yes.
I've been reading it as it comes in. And so, and people can go online and sign up to volunteer if they want to help clean up, and because that's how I got involved with it, right? They can do that?
Absolutely. Thanks for mentioning that. And then donations if they want to donate.
You know, one of the things that we need to emphasize is the fact that we did get a large grant, 2 of them, but that covers construction only. And what we need now is to fundraise for the amenities that would attract people to the trail and increase the trail user experience, and because of that, come back more frequently to realize and maximize our health benefits and the economic benefits of the trail. And it's a place-saving kind of dividend that we want to develop this attraction to the trail, and for people to want to be there and return regularly. So
that's great. And Ken, I'm wondering, as a retired physician, has the medical community gotten involved in some of the fundraising efforts? Have you been able to reach out to them and sort of tie them in as well? I'm sure there's a connection there.
There is, and we're going to expand that in time. And this is an opportunity for the entire community to get everybody's help to create a new cultural main street and generate and create a generational legacy in the process.
Got you. That makes a lot of sense. Is there anything, well, I see on one of the questions that I know you guys sent me to ask, which I think is important, how much will it cost to build?
That's a good question.
I mean, it seems there's probably some unknowns in there as well.
However, your timing is great in asking that question because they are just now accepting bids on that first 6 miles that is scheduled to start construction right away. The bid opening has just taken place within the last week.
Okay.
And that will give us a better idea. We've had projections on the cost, but with inflation, we know that's changed, and there will be a better idea of what we're looking at as these bids are opened.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the one correction, it would be that the bids will actually be open next month, and the pre-bids is what we heard about.
Pre-bids.
The pre-bids.
Yes.
Okay.
And so, but we anticipate the potential for construction of that first 6 miles to begin in October, and hopefully be completed by late spring next year.
Okay. So when you're referencing the first 6 miles, do you want to share with our online listeners or our audience out there, what are you referencing?
That
point A to point B.
references the section that would go from Hendersonville to Horseshoe, and where it crosses 64 at Horseshoe. So that first 6 miles, we do have all the available funding for that section. Preliminary engineering is approved, and construction will start later this year.
Okay. And I don't know what the Brevard side looks like. So is it the same where it's been cleared and there's sort of rocks that have been put down all the way to Horseshoe then?
We've made up for lost time thanks to the city of Brevard.
Okay.
We're running at least a year behind.
Okay. Gotcha. And I'm sure I remember when the surveyors came out back in right before we went into lockdown. They were out there sort of, surveying the trail early March, and then all of a sudden, everything got delayed.
We've made up for lost time, and I'm very pleased with the way it's progressing.
Good.
And because of the cooperation between the city of Brevard and the folks here in Henderson County, we will be following a lot of their lead. We're using some of the same engineers and survey groups to outline the trail, because technically the plan is for the trail to be seamless between the two counties.
Okay. Will it connect to any other trails?
It will connect eventually to the Ecusta Trail on the Brevard side. That would place people into the National Forest.
Oh, wow.
And then on the Hendersonville side, the Ocklawaha Greenway would be eventually connected. And there is potential for future connections with the Saluda Grade Trail.
Oh, wow.
That Conserving Carolina is working on down to Inman, South Carolina. There is also a thing called the Hellbender Regional Trail System that is envisioned to connect 5 counties by 150 miles of bike pedestrian infrastructure that's being talked about at this point. So a lot of potential for connectivity and even into the communities. So people can get out and do their shopping, they're getting to work, and even going to school.
Wow. That's fabulous, guys. I mean, that is absolutely wonderful. What can people do to support the Ecusta Trail? What would you like the listeners to know that they can do? Well,
basically, I think that goes back to going to our website, ecustatrail.org, and then signing up for that newsletter, volunteering where you can. We do need things like low maintenance on the trail, litter pickup, trail ambassadors. Eventually, we do need help with website development and other things, working on publicity publicity and even grant writing, because we have a long way to go to get our amenities here and realize the real potential of this trail.
Okay. And so Conserving Carolina, and how does that factor into the Ecusta Trail? Tell me a little bit more about that.
Sure. Conserving Carolina actually acquired the right-of-way from the railroad, and then a non-profit partnership was established with the Friends of the Ecusta Trail. Conserving Carolina then sought out governmental partners, and that is Henderson County and the city of Brevard, and they established a long-term lease with that right-of-way. And one thing to mention is just the fact that this is called rail banking, and rail banking is related to a federal government requirement to keep railroad corridors intact for future rail use, but it allows for interim trail use, and that's how we're operating this trail. So it will be a rail trail, and it will be and is recognized by the federal government and legally supported by the Supreme Court for turning this into an interim trail use. So that's sort of the background on that.
So it could eventually, if desired, be turned back if it were needed.
Absolutely.
So if the infrastructure for some reason we required that, or there would be a benefit.
It has happened in a few isolated cases across the nation, but in most cases, in many of those cases, they've worked out a joint usage, where part of the right-of-way was for continued use of a trail along with the rail line. That has happened in some areas, but it's been rare.
Gotcha.
It's been rare that the rail has taken it back.
Yeah, 9 times you can have a rail trail conversion, rail with trail, and so they are coexisting in parallel to each other with a physical barrier in between. And these rail trails are extensive. In the United States, there's now 25,000 miles of these trails. In North Carolina, we only have 138, but we are increasing that shortly.
That's fabulous. That is fabulous. Anything else you'd like to add? I mean, share with the online listeners, please.
One thing I would like to do is a shout out to our elected officials that have supported us from the beginning, and particularly Chuck Edwards and Chuck McGrady, now retired. They've done an incredible job, and we would not have this trail and its potential to this community without them.
That's fabulous. That's good to hear. Anything else, Tad?
We appreciate you having us on.
Well, it's been nice.
And again, encourage people to go to ecustatrail.org.
So ecustatrail.org for more information. Sign up for the newsletter, see how you can volunteer, see what's happening, get monthly updates, become more active in whatever way possible. You've been listening to me, Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties, your radio host, WHKP.com 107.7, as well as Tad Fogel and Ken Shelton, talking about the Ecusta Trail and all the wonderful things that the Rail to Trails program provides. And so thank you, listeners, so much, and thank you guys for being on the show today.